Bienvenue au Paramotor Podcast numéro 8.
Perfecto.
Merci.
Merci.
Très bien, mon plaisir.
Let me go ahead and translate that for you all. That was welcome to the Paramotor Podcast. You're listening to episode number 8. And today,
Jean-François.
Jean-François.
Yes.
Did I say that?
Chabaud.
Chabaud. Jean-François Chabaud.
François.
Jean-François
Chabaud.
Chabaud. Hey, welcome to the Paramotor Podcast. Today we have Jean-François.
No, Sois.
Sois. Like,
Francois.
voulez-vous say avec sois?
Francois.
Okay.
François. Yes, that's very good.
Jean-François
Chabaud.
Chabaud. Hey, you're listening to episode number 8, and today we have Jean-François Chabaud.
From Santa Fe.
From Santa Fe, but he is from France originally.
Yes, I am.
Yes, and you are on a 6,000-mile paramotor adventure starting from California and going all the way
back to California, going by Key West.
You start in California and you end in California. You could either be going 5 miles or you could be going 6,000 miles because you're ending in the same place you started.
He's taking a pretty big loop here.
That is a big loop. This morning we had Jean-François at the field. He had flown in from, where did you take off from this morning?
This morning from Deming Airport.
Deming Airport. The thing that fascinates me is that with paramotoring, you're so subject to the weather, right, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
More so than any other aviation sport that I can think of because you're under a lightweight piece of fabric.
It's not rigid and collapsible.
And collapsible. Jean-François, you yesterday flew in some pretty extreme winds. And the wing was collapsing, if I'm not mistaken.
I got 7 collapse in 3 days. So 6 the first day, traveling through Tucson, right there along the mountains, going across high. So anyway, it was wind tips collapse. They were very fast,
Right.
but I could feel them.
Right.
Deflation, line getting soft, and boom, and they reopen.
Right.
Yesterday, it was 2 cravats where the front of the wing, the tip meaning the tip front, they just folded totally.
Uh-huh.
And there I felt them and I saw them. I saw the left one and I saw it reinflate and I checked on my right, said, ooh, to my surprise, there were another one. Right. And bang, and it reopened. SIV style, that's what I said. It just felt like being at the SIV clinic.
Right.
And very extreme. And today was just a little nothing. It was just deflation, but not bad. It was fun.
And I was watching you and your nephew, Nance, and you and him were out at the trailer that has the map of this entire trip that you're taking. And on it, you marked El Paso as, I think, mile 808, right? So you still got a long way to go, and there'll potentially be a lot more collapses along the way. How do you feel as far as that go? Recently, this isn't your first adventure. It wasn't that long ago that you did the Rio Grande. You flew the entire length of the Rio Grande and you passed through El Paso. This was not your first time here, except this time, how many miles was the Rio Grande adventure?
It was shorter than expected because we had people that need to go back home.
Right.
My trip right here is I'm going to fly it all.
Right.
I'm not going to drive. The Rio Grande was expected to be about 1,500 miles. I flew about 950 of it.
Right.
Because we avoided some locations, some spaces because... some areas because of the weather.
Okay.
Yeah. But when I flew last year at the same time of the year, and I flew from Albuquerque all the way to the Salton Sea, that was 700 miles, unsupported by myself, carrying my tent, sleeping bag, mattress, stove, extra gas, oil.
Would you consider that paracamping to some degree? I mean, if you were carrying everything you need.
Para-struggling? I don't want to do that anymore again. Yeah, meaning that was Icarus style, and that was very intense. It was very intense because of the weight. Not when you fly, you're all set. But just setting up, getting ready, and launch.
Right, okay.
But when I did it last year, the 700 miles, I had the perfect weather the entire way.
Huh.
Nice.
I did some speed. I got a few bumps, but very light. For example, I did 700 miles, and I got less bump than I got today. In 70 miles.
Wow.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it was nice and warm too. I was not covered like today. Today I had a lot of layers.
Right.
11 layers on the top, 4 on my legs.
And you said you did that last year at this same time of year?
Yeah, I left.
So basically, we're still in winter here.
Yeah,
and you
last
flew
year,
out of Santa Fe.
Albuquerque.
Oh, Albuquerque. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It was warmer. It was a lot warmer.
As usual, we have Thomas Bird, with us, who is the meteorologist of El Paso. And Tom, like right off the bat, what are some of the things that you would think of as...
Well, I'll tell you this. You're a nut, right? I mean, certifiable, almost nuts, taking huge calculated risk every day. You know, most paramotor pilots avoid the middle of the day. They fly early and they fly late when conditions are more calm and you don't have as much turbulence and you're less likely to take a deflation like you've been taking. But when you're doing 6,000 miles, you don't have the luxury of just flying an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon. You're extending your flight time well into peak heating almost, where you're starting to see really strong thermals. What bothers me, what worries me, is a dust devil. You know, and we see them out here all the time,
even
in
this
the
time
winter.
of year.
Yeah, even in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Not nearly as frequently as we see them in the summer, but that's what scares me about flying. Like at the times that you're flying, and in fact, yesterday, Jean Francois and myself were talking via Facebook, and I was like, I wouldn't fly much past 9 tomorrow, you know, but that's just me. And of course, he flew till like 10:30.
Right. No kidding.
Yeah,
I would agree. I would think that the biggest struggle of doing 6,000 miles would be that you're facing this incredible changes in landscapes and the different sorts of weather.
Well, Jean-Francois, you have to battle the mental aspect, right? The physical aspect, and then the weather aspect. So you can talk about all that stuff real quick. I mean, what all kind of hurdles are you having to get through on a daily basis?
The only thing that I see as an issue is just loading and go in the morning or loading and go in the afternoon. The issue right now I have is mainly because it's cold and I have so many layers on me. I don't like it. I mean, it's not fun to have so many layers on your body. Today I even put 2 pairs of socks and I put a plastic bag over my feet to keep the wind off and try to keep some warmth, and which helped, I guess, because this morning it was 23 degrees when I got up. When I left, more likely it was 28, I think, but it was nice and sunny, so that was acceptable. So the amount of clothes are the difficult part, I think, regarding the flying aspect and staying busy or think about something else when I'm flying, because you're right, 6,000 miles is a long way. You assume you would take 200 hours of flying. If I could fly all day, I will. Some days I know I will not, but I need to catch up in speed and distance the other days. For me, music, phone calls, FaceTime, staying busy with the GoPros. Whenever this morning the battery froze in 5 minutes on the GoPro 7, brand new batteries, didn't go very far. Taking pictures. So at the end, I'm always busy. My head just keep going down to my phone to look at my direction, trying to stay on my straight trajectory and just stay on it to try to minimize the amount of mile. What I realized is that for the last 5 days, what I did, because the first 2 days didn't really count because until I left Glamis, it didn't really count. But I realized that I don't really try to avoid anything, and it's pretty much hoping for the best.
Right.
And hoping for the best when you're on the Southwest is pretty safe, because if you have an issue, you just land somewhere and somebody will find you one of these days. Not too much of an issue. But taking some risk in a place where there's a lot of trees, that will worry me a little bit more. But where there's more trees is more on the East Coast, and there's more, we're starting whatever, Texas, Louisiana, but there's a lot more people too. Yeah. So there's roads everywhere. And I never really flew in that direction, but knowing there's road everywhere, if you go down, you always find a field and close to a road. It's true that what I did yesterday, what I did today is just cutting, just going straight. Right. There's nothing there, nothing. And you look at it from above, you see the cars on the highway sometimes. 20 miles away, you see a house. You see some rabbits. You see some coyotes. And once in a while, you see a power line. And so I don't really think about it. I just hope for the best that the engine will be fine. Regarding what you were talking about, the dust devil, I look for it, even if I don't see it coming. At least there's dust that could happen, but I don't really think about it. The reason I don't think about it is that most of the time I fly very high. I would like to stay about 3,000 feet from the ground at all time. It just smooths out everything. But for the last 3 days, I can't. It's too cold.
Right.
It's too cold. It's just not possible.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday I was about 2,000 feet. Today I stay between 40 feet and 200 feet from the ground.
I think of everything that you were just saying. I think about, the amount of batteries that you have to have, all the planning in cold weather gear. All in all, the logistics of this entire operation seem like it would be massive. I mean, 6,000 miles. How did you prepare for something so huge?
Last year when I flew from New Mexico to California, I just had the right gears. I'd make sure that I had the right amount and it was plenty warm, so I was not too cold. This time I had time to build up, thinking I need to get something warmer because it's going to get colder. I'm supported, so in the car, in the trailer, we have everything I need, and I just pick. I'm glad that I have the heated gloves. I hate them because they're big and bulky.
Yeah.
I cannot do much with them, even when I launch, but when it's 28 degrees outside, you have to launch with them.
Right.
You cannot do like some people say, oh, I put them in my little bag, I launch all the way without gloves, and I put them later. You cannot do that.
Right.
There's
We're spoiled here in El Paso to some degree as far as weather goes. I mean, the coldest that I think I've ever flown in was maybe 30 degrees. And at that temperature, my hands start to get extremely cold to the point where it's very painful. And I just simply can't imagine, not only for you, but for the other paramotor pilots around the United States who are flying in these colder temperatures. But what makes it different is you're doing it for such long stretches, and you're sitting there for the most part, flying a straight line where there isn't much movement going on. And so
it is something very interesting because when I keep my hands up to manage the wing, to actively pilot the wing, if it's rough and bumpy, I have to take the risk to put my hand down.
Right.
So today I did it. So today and yesterday I had heated gloves, and that made it very nice. When I left San Diego, I had heated gloves. There it was, we assumed that it was between 0 and 4 degrees Fahrenheit when I flew across. When I landed, I was frozen. But it was not a bad cold, but it was very cold. Now when I flew El Paso, over
Las Cruces?
Las Cruces. No, Las Cruces.
Lordsburg.
Tucson and Deming Airport. I didn't want my heated glove because they're a pain in the ass because I cannot use my phone with it.
Right.
So I use my normal thin glove with ski glove over it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is exactly what you said. It was very cold. It was not extremely cold, but it was too cold for this kind of gloves. I had pain in my fingers. Like skiing, I had to take my hand off and move them under me and wait. And sometimes it was starting to hurt badly. And I said, okay, it's going to hurt more if I keep warming them up. So I'm just going to put them back up to try to balance the temperature on them.
6,000 miles. What is the greatest reward from accomplishing this? I mean, of course, there could be the fun in it. You're going 6,000 miles. You're going across the country. There could be the scenery.
The people you meet.
The people you meet. Just the sheer accomplishment of going 6,000 miles on a paramotor. What is in it for you? What do you value so much about accomplishing something so large?
I think the most important is going from point A to point B. It's very interesting to know that you can fly so far so fast, because you could go as fast as somebody driving with a motorhome,
right?
Which is true. One time last year, I called my wife and I said, hey, believe it or not, I'm flying 65 miles an hour. I go faster than you with the motorhome pulling the trailer, and I'm going straight. So I'm going at the end pretty fast. But going from point A to point B, I think is very rewarding.
Right.
Landing to a place where you never land before. You know, right now the story is my nephews are supposed to put the wingsock when I land, and they always arrive after me. So I'm on my own. Yeah. Right now is every single time I'm on my own.
Right.
Like today when I landed here on the field, Anthony, I thought he was going to show me a direction to land. No, at all. He was on the phone dealing with some business. I don't know what it was. and I thought I saw some movement, but maybe he was getting mad at the person on the phone. I don't know what he was doing. And I thought, okay, I'm on my own. I'm going to loop around a few times and figure out my wind speed, and I will land on my own. So it's kind of interesting to do that. It's not a question of gambling with my life because I'm
Right.
not doing that, but it's true that I take some risk and they are not calculated. When you cut straight over no man's land, it's not calculated. It's only one engine out and you land at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I didn't think about it at all this entire trip except today. Today when I was flying over the lava field,
Right.
because I was low to the ground, I was like, oops, if I land engine out, I'm going to land on one of these very strong, broken lava rocks and I'm going to hurt myself. And because usually I fly high. When I fly high, I don't think the same way.
Mm-hmm.
When I fly high, you see any kind of issue can be resolved by the time you have to land, which is very true.
Aside from the flying to point A to point B, I mean, would that include just the things that you're able to see? Like today, when you did land, you mentioned the fact that you were flying over these lava fields that I had no idea really existed. I'm sure you did, Tom.
That and a bunch of cinder cones out there. So there's actual extinct volcanoes out where he was flying by all those. It's beautiful. In fact, you told us earlier off before we started recording that it's the prettiest leg of your flight thus far, which surprised me.
Well, mainly I flew low.
Right.
Usually I fly high. And when you fly high, you see things, but you see things in general. So you're not connected to the ground as much. When we did the Rio Grande last year, we were following the river. We were very low and it was beautiful because of it. And it was part of a group flight. And it was also very interesting because you were getting that dynamic. This time when you are by yourself and you fly 3,000 feet from the ground, yeah, you feel protected, but you're not connected.
Right.
So you fly fast, you look for your speed. When today I felt connected to the rabbits, they were my best friend. I saw a lot of them.
I love it. No, that's such a great thing. Honestly, I always want to kind of bring it back to the fact that paramotoring, this isn't just any form of aviation. Even with paragliding, right? With paragliding, you don't really have the luxury of staying low to the ground because you kind of want to just keep building height. Paramotoring is even different from flying a fixed-wing aircraft because with a fixed-wing aircraft, the speeds are so much higher and therefore the consequences are so much higher. You can fly a paramotor like this evening. Right before we recorded this podcast, we went up to the field and there was a pretty strong headwind. It is so cool to be able to just go right along the surface of the earth, maybe 10 feet above, and be going 2 miles per hour and just kind of like being right above all the plants, seeing the coyotes, chasing jackrabbits, and it's exclusive to the paramotoring community.
Yeah, very, very true. Today, when I was flying by the cones, because I flew over 2 of them, the guy at the Deming airport, the airport manager told me, oh, there's a cone back there. I don't know if you're going to fly near it, but I saw one coming at me and I was flying low and I thought, oh yeah, I want to go and see above. So I climb, and I was above. I took some nice pictures of it.
A cone?
Yeah, just a nice
cinder cone.
A cinder cone. Yeah,
It had a crater on it.
yeah,
right?
a crater.
Yeah.
This one has a nice round shape cone.
Wow, okay.
There are
So-
dozens west of here.
So it was. There's a lot of them. There's a ton of them. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
And as I climbed, I went down to 21 miles an hour, and it was like, oh, I'm going slow. I didn't like it because I need to move forward
For the mission.
for the mission to go somewhere. Time is gas and energy and more risk into the air.
Right.
But today, what I did for the first time since I've been flying long distance, for the first time ever, I took a little detour to go and see something. Because I was on the straight line, I said, oh, let me go and check at that thing.
Nice.
So I just went out, not very far, 500 yards to the left.
Right.
I flew over it, I took some pictures, and I went back
Very
into
good,
my
yeah.
trajectory. And by being close to the ground, I thought, I want to do it. When I'm above, I don't.
Right.
So it's kind of mixed feeling. I want to go up for safety. I want to go up for speed, which doesn't mean I'm going to get the speed. I could go slower. But if I go up, it's for the speed. And at the same time, be down low and see things. I just keep repeating myself. But today was a different experience because of it.
So on this 6,000-mile journey, and you're 808 miles in, so you're not that far in. You still have a long way to go. Are there other things along the way, other landmarks, other things that you've already pointed out to yourself, saying, I'm going to make sure and see that on my way through?
Not at all, just one, which is the big pit, the big open mine where everybody flies in right now in Maricopa.
Oh, right.
I was back there, I was a flying circus, and I said, I can go to the highway and follow the highway, or I can go across or through the farmland, get to the pit, and after follow Highway 10, which that's what I did. I was high. Everybody you see on the videos, they all go low, down. But myself, I was flying there at about 60 miles an hour. I had a nice tailwind, so I just took it. I just flew right over it, took some pictures, and kept going. It's just a different mission. Some people just go and fly around, and they just land 10 minutes later or 20 minutes later. And what Anthony was saying regarding the weather and the cold, most everybody will fly, or whoever wants to fly in cold, they can do it. And when we see the video, it's like, oh, that looks cold. I can't believe you do that. But maybe they go only for 10 minutes.
Right.
Me, when the weather, when it's cold, it's going to take me 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I just don't know. It could take an hour and a half, but I cannot stop.
Right. And one of the things, of course, it's like with all these great things about paramotoring, occasionally there are things that you're restricted to do that you may not have, where if you were in a fixed-wing aircraft, you may have somebody else who can take the stick for a minute. You can say, I'm hot, I'm going to take off this jacket. You don't really have that option. What you take off with on the ground is what you're wearing until you land.
For the first time today since I've been flying, I had to pee. And I was like, so I kept, because the clothes, you have to keep them up anyway, nothing else you can do. So whenever you have some emergency like that, you look at that final destination. And I didn't want to move my map to make it further away to see the dot. I just kept it, and I was hoping to see it coming on the screen.
Right.
And I was like, come on. Suddenly I saw it, and I was like, oh, I'm going 31 miles an hour. That's good. I will be there shortly. Getting closer and closer. Right. I cannot drink tea in the morning before I fly. I cannot do it. I should drink nothing.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about your tracker here in a minute, how people can keep in touch with you and watch you along the way. But Clint, who's usually on the podcast with us, and myself today, we're watching you on your Garmin tracker online. And I guess it glitches every now and then. It got hung just west of here on the mesa and wasn't giving us an update for a while. And we noticed that for about 25, 30 minutes, it was just in one spot. So me and him were talking back and forth via Facebook Messenger, thinking either you ran out of gas or you had to pee.
Yeah.
I'm not going to land.
Right.
I'm not going to land.
So a lot of people fly with a pee tube or something like that, Do you?
No, I will not. That's the first time ever since I've been flying that I has.
I have to say, I've considered it. I have landed out when I had to pee.
I have too, several times.
It's nerve-wracking in itself. It's like, oh God, I hope I can take off after this. What's the only way? Is there only that one way? Is there any way else to relieve yourself in the air?
No.
Dang.
No, and I land out to pee. I wouldn't say frequently, but somewhat regularly, because there's so many good places to land around here.
Right.
You just find a good place, and it kind of, I think it builds a skill. A lot of people, they take off and land at their LZ, and so they have a windsock set up there. But when you're landing out in the middle of the desert, there's no windsock.
Yeah.
So you have to figure that out. You have to make sure you're picking a place that is landable and take-offable at the same time. And so to me, it's like a skill builder. It's like, okay, I got to pee. Let me challenge myself and see if I can get on the ground, pee, and then get back up.
For sure. And it seems like it's also one of those cool things that just paramotoring in general can give you access to, right? So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people get into it there, and perhaps they go to their favorite flying field, they fly around for an hour or two, and then they come back and land right where they took off. But, I mean, it is a cool concept, especially with what you're doing. You're landing at a different place every time you take off. Like you said earlier, you get to land in all these new places. So do you already have every LZ mapped out along the way?
I can
no, I don't.
For you.
I do not. I do not at all. I just look at them the night before.
Okay.
Meaning some of them I kind of know because I already went from east to west last time. So 2 nights ago, I landed at the San Simon truck stop. That's the only time that I landed in wind. I think I even landed backward.
And did you land in the actual truck stop?
Last year I did,
Nice.
right on the truck stop. But this year, no, I didn't make it. I went slightly too far. I turned around and I started to go backward. It was so windy because just a few minutes before I was going 60 miles an hour.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the winds were really high.
Yeah, and I just stayed at the same spot. I was not moving, and when I got close to the ground, I could see that I was going backward to our power line. They were not too far. It's still far enough, but not very far. And I just landed right there. But I don't want to cheat on this one. I want to fly the entire way. So if we use the truck, it's just go to the grocery store, or going backwards. So I landed east and we went back west, and I launched 2 days ago right in the truck stop between the trucks, between the big semi trucks. Huh. So that was interesting. But yeah, the fact that you go and land to new places all the time, and to reply to your question, again, no, I don't. What I look for a place to land, This time I'm going to go safe, so always going to try to land following the highway. Again, I'm cutting all the time, but that's the place that would be easy for my nephew to find. But I look at the distance first. When I got the distance, I look at it on the satellite and see what it looked like. I look for an exit, and I look near an exit, I look for a flat spot. But what is very, very good, something that people do not know, every time, when we did the Rio Grande with the group, I said, hey, look what I see on the satellite pictures. I see a donut. And the donut is when people do 360 with their cars. If they do donuts, that means it's flat.
Yeah,
it's flat.
Yeah.
That's what I look for as much as I can. I see a donut, I can land.
Yeah. That's a secret no one knows.
Take that.
Learning something. And that works all the time.
Just with Google Earth, for example?
Yeah, the map. I just go to map.
No kidding. And you can see that.
Oh, yeah. That's precise enough. So again, I look approximately distance. After I look at the location and I look for a flat spot, and usually I reach it. But I cut all the time. I cut corners. So I'm just hoping that I will make there.
Right.
Destination. I just cannot follow the road. It's not a question of distance, but if you not follow the road, sometime you're going to you're going to have a nice tailwind, and you follow the road, you're going to have more nice tailwind, and after you're going to go upwind.
Right.
And I cannot do that. I need to stay and get as much tailwind as I can. So I need to go straight most of the time.
So you were just talking about exits and stuff like that, so your support truck can get to you, I'm sure. And so how do you keep in touch with your ground crew?
Phone, just call. That's much easier than radio.
What about apps?
We have one that I show Anthony. He loves it.
Yes.
It's called Live 360. And it is a live tracking. It's very, very, very precise. You just see people moving on the highway. You just see them dot by dot. And that's the way, if they can track me, but I can track them. When we were flying between Yuma and Tucson, I could see they were behind me. I said, keep going faster. I see you are behind me. And one time I looked at them and I saw they were right next to me, and I turned my head. I was 800 feet up, and I could see them driving on the highway.
Oh, nice. So do you use airspace apps or anything like that to know what you're flying in air-wise?
So I use Fly Sky High. I just enter all my information, my GPS. It's not even GPS coordinates. It's more a dot. I just put a dot wherever I want to land.
Waypoints on the map.
Waypoint, exactly. And it just gives me the distance. For example, tomorrow I'm going to go around to Fairbairn Airport, and I know it will be about 55 miles. I put a few dots right there. So I just try to follow as much as possible the line that it's giving me. And for sure on it, I get the airspace. Last year when we did the Rio Grande, I was right at the edge of the El Paso airspace, and you can see the live tracking after just turning. Such a big radius. So I just follow it. Very, very simple and very precise.
So already along the way, you've stopped in at a couple fly-ins along the way, right? So you did the Salton Sea, Glamis, and
Motown, the Flying Circus.
Arizona Flying Circus.
Flying Circus.
So this guy is doing a 6,000-mile journey. He gets to the Salton Sea and decides, let's do a lap around the sea, 90 miles? Something like that.
It was about 92 miles.
He organizes a group to all fly around the sea.
Yeah, we're in advance. I said, I will be there at that time. I know everybody wants... Okay, I take it back. I said, I know a lot of people always wanted to fly around the lake, but it seems like nobody ever did it. Right. I'll be there. I'm going to do a big trip. So who wants to sign up and be part of it? So I think like 37 people said I will be part of it. And I set it up for a specific day, and weather, whatever, we thought to do it the next day. The next day we left with a group of people, but we didn't know that an extra 14 followed. They just left before us. So at the end we were about 20 people, I think, flying around the lake. It was fun. It was very nice.
Neat.
It smells pretty bad there, right?
Nah, not really. I did smell it once badly up north, but all around it was very good. Not that time of the year, meaning not specifically right now, it was good.
Right, so when it's hotter, usually that smell, because it has a reputation, right?
Oh, yeah. You want to be upwind of the lake. That's why they have it on the west side of the lake.
Okay.
Actually,
nice.
For sure. I mean, that's the reason. So when you leave here, you're in West Texas now. you're going to be cutting across Texas, hitting the Gulf Coast somewhere. And then from that point, it's just following the Gulf Coast around to Florida, right?
That's my idea.
And when you get to Florida, you run out of land. I don't know if you know that yet.
Yeah.
But land runs out, and you're still taking a loop. So what are you going to do when you get? I guess you're going to fly all the way down the Keys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
flying all the way down to
huge
Keys.
body of water.
There's quite a few people that want to fly down all the way to Key West with me. I'm going to try. I didn't talk to them yet, but I already got the Coast Guard phone number back there for the main guy. I need to call him soon, but I would like to land right at the base if it's possible.
Wow.
They have a big, huge parking lot right there. I'm sure they will be up for it.
How many miles is that water crossing?
So the
You've got
one,
2, right?
3.
3.
So if you all put them together, it's a total of 320 miles over water.
Wow.
We have,
Okay, so
9.
the two big ones are from Key West to Cuba.
No, that's the short one.
Well, what's the longer one?
90 miles from
Right.
Key West to Cuba,
And then-
from Cuba to Cancun 120, and from Los Mochis, which is Mexico, all the way to La Paz or La Ventana. That's where I like to land. That's 120 miles.
I'm just thinking like 90 miles. One is the short stretch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got this other even longer stretch over the ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, right?
International waters.
Nothing to look at. It's easy.
So,
But
certainly you got flotation for that. Those
Yes,
stretches.
I'm going to carry about 6 different kind, which is
So
You
do
wa-
you have a way to mitigate you going in and, not getting eaten by a shark or
Ah.
drowning or,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
no, I don't know what you're
Oh,
saying.
well, okay.
I don't decide. The engine will decide for me.
I know, but I mean, you can't mitigate that. But I mean, assuming that circumstance comes to fruition, which we all hope doesn't, what are you doing?
Well, you've got the Coast Guard, you said, right?
I have few things in my mind, but nothing concrete yet. I don't know.
Right.
So I'm going to use, I guess, taxpayer money, I guess, which is not true. But the idea would be to get the Coast Guard to take care of me between Key West and Cuba, at least for half of it.
Right.
As soon as I get closer, I'm hoping to have the Cuban pilot to manage me, at least my landing and follow me and track me. And if I have a problem, they could get to me. It's only 90 miles. Some boats go 45 miles, 50 miles an hour. They can be on me in 45 minutes.
So you use your cell phone. Of course, I don't think the cell phone would work, but you have a GPS tracker that actually is dedicated to the satellite. So you should be able to
People will know where you're
picked
at.
up. Is it waterproof?
But I'm going to get a beacon,
Okay.
personal beacon,
Right.
like you have on sailboats. So that would be the main feature that would be titled to my name.
Right. No, I think I think that is probably my favorite part of this 6,000 mile paramotor adventure is this massive water crossing, because I just think that's such 3 massive water crossings. No, I think that's fantastic.
I think I've got an idea. If you could carry a small raft with you,
right,
that if you're going in, it inflates.
Or a kayak.
I
Then
said
you have a
6
fan.
floaters on device. So the first device I'm going to have on me will be my wetsuit. It's my kiteboarding wetsuit. I'm going to fly out with my kiteboarding booties. I will probably carry my bags, which are a bicycle pannier on the side to put changing clothes, like that when I get in Cuba, I have things. So that's one. I'm going to carry a style, it's more like a funny pack, floaters on device with the CO2 cartridge. It opens, and you just grab it and you put it over your neck and you tie it on the back and it's done. So that's number 2. Number 3, I have floaters on device on the motor, on the Scout paramotor. Number 4, I'm more likely going to put some spaghetti floating device, the one that you buy to go in the water and play with, and just take
tubes,
them, tubes, exactly, around the
styrofoam
frame.
ones,
Exactly. So that will help to carry the motor more. So now we're already at 4, I believe. I'm going to have exactly what you were talking about, which is a single person raft. And it's just a box. It's pretty much like 8 inches by 8 inches by 18 inches long. And this one, when you touch the water, just inflate, and it has the entire flotation device all around. You can get inside, and there's an arch behind your head, and you can zip it up and be totally protected from the sun and from the water.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like freaking Survivor.
But I was thinking,
not Survivor, Castaway.
if you could inflate the wrap before you hit the water and somehow keep the motor out of the water, then you have basically an airboat.
I know,
and just
right?
continue on.
Sure.
I know that.
I will be thinking of this one. I like the idea.
That'd be great.
Except if you have an engine out, maybe the motor will not work anymore to push me.
I say if you land in Florida, they're going to have a wealth of knowledge on how to make one of those swamp boats right out of a paramotor, because they're already cruising around in Florida with these things.
So you've already in good with Cuba folks, and they know you're coming. And
yeah, the operation as far as crossing through different countries, do you have to call in advance to make this a reality?
So I'm going to go across and I'm going to fly with my French passport.
Okay.
That could help if I need. But mainly, again, as soon as I get closer, I'm going to contact the Cuban pilots a little bit more. I want them to tell me where to land. What is going to happen is that by the time, if I'm high, 3,000 feet, or even 2,000 feet, by the time I reach the beach where I'm supposed to land, I go down, nobody will even know. That's where they fly from. So, but also at the same time, I need them to tell me where to go to get my passport stamp. And it is as easy as being a boat captain. You just enter near harbor and you just go and you stamp. You said, I came in with my vessel. That would be my motor. I'm going to get out at that specific location in 3 days. Before I start to drive, stamp me out. I could do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not very sure. I just don't know yet. I will figure it out and I will follow the advice of the Cuban pilot.
So when you say Cuban pilots, you're talking about paramotor pilots in Cuba?
There's a group of, I think it must be like 4 or 5 of them.
The bodyguards, the entourage.
Yeah.
They're going to
Cuban paramotor pilot. Yeah, that's what it is.
No, that's
so the next one, the next big one, which will be from Cuba to Cancun.
Right.
On this one, I'm expecting and hoping that the Mexican pilots will fly it with me.
Mm-hmm.
They said that they wanted to have 4 or 5 of themselves to go across with Paraboat and land in Cuba, and after fly across with me. They said we always wanted to do it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
But
so this big, that's one of the bigger water crossings.
yes,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't have to do it alone, which would be comforting.
Which would be fine.
Right.
Me, I want to get company the entire way if I could.
Right.
But I just don't know what's going to happen until they confirm it.
Right. So the other thing, mentioning that, you said that on the Rio Grande adventure, some people may have had some motor troubles and had to get out eventually, that there were more people that started than finished.
No, on the same amount, there's a little group where one got hurt and 3 guys just came to fly their trike paramotor, but it was just from point A and stay on point A and after drive. They just wanted to be part of the group, but and only one guy had an engine out and they retrieved his equipment by helicopter.
Right.
Not very far from here. In fact, that was the next section.
I was down near the Big Bend, between here and Big Bend. Really remote.
Yeah, by Van Horn, just right there. Because I took them to a big leap over the mountain there. Yeah, this one went very high to fly and feel safe. But he had a spare motor. So 2 days later, he was with us and he kept flying with us.
So aside from these massive water crossings and going into different countries, what about here in the U.S.? What are some of the challenges that you face flying these greater distances? You're sometimes going through more complicated airspaces. Of course, you have to plan it out in advance. At any point during this flight, did you have to specifically request permission to fly through a certain area? Or make phone calls of any means?
No, I didn't. There's 2 I know that are going to be an issue.
Uh-huh.
I would just have to go around them.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. I wish I could go straight, but I can't.
Right.
I know the OMOC, which is the Department of Homeland Security, are following me out of San Diego.
Oh, nice.
They when I did the Rio Grande, I told them who was coming, how many pilots, and they already told me there was a few things to be careful with in some location. I need to contact them tonight because now I'm going to fly a little bit closer to Border Patrol.
Okay.
And they know that I'm around here and that is me flying.
Right. Yeah,
Because
we do that often here too.
So you know the drill. So I'll do that. Otherwise, I know a few airspace, but not too many. There's the one in Del Rio that is a problem, and another one in Florida where they got the big hurricane back there, whatever, Panama Beach or something like that. And also is a military base. I don't think I will be able to fly along the beach there. Maybe I can get the permission. Again, I cannot anticipate too much in advance. I need to get closer, and I'd say, okay, I'm doing that because I don't want to say they cannot think 10 days in advance, but I need to see it pretty much at the last minute.
Right.
More likely, I will just avoid them.
And what's amazing is this must be a huge financial undertaking to do this, to be supported, to go through 3 countries, go 6,000 miles. So you must be sponsored, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do have the sponsor needed to take care of the expenses, the big expenses.
Right.
So I got some nice loaners, or I got a new product. And after, what is happening is that I get help from individuals.
Right.
On my trailer, I put the name of all the people that participated and give me $20, $40. That goes toward gas a little bit, but mainly to get the floaters and the vice. The big sponsors are mainly for the engine and the wing and the frame.
Right.
So what is happening is that Scout Paramotor decided to take care of me regarding the frame and the engine. So they give me the entire motor. I would say just a loaner. I'll need to be careful. They will get it back when it's finished.
Will they be okay with you, dropping it in the Gulf of Mexico? Not that's going to happen.
That would be a big loss. That would be a big loss. Well, it will float.
Right.
So we'll take it out.
Right.
It will be a little rusted, I guess, but anything is possible.
Right.
So what they did is Team Fly Yellow and Scout Paramotor created that company that is called the Adventure Wingman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw that.
That's them. So they just put some money in the box, and they're just going to use and sponsor.
Yeah, they're looking
trip
for
and adventure pilots, something that is interesting.
Yeah, I can see why they would want to.
Yeah, I see why they want to
help
do
out
yours,
the 6,000 mile paramotor adventure.
Yeah, so that's a big one. They were interested, and I was already flying a Scout, so at the end I have 2 in my trailer.
Right.
I have my used one in case something happened and I crashed a little bit too hard and I damaged something. So at least I have it. After what I got an Ozone wing. I got the Ozone.
Your trailer has a bunch of wings.
A bunch of Ozone, a lot of them in it. But the one I'm using for the trip is the Ozone Roadster 3 and a 22 meter. So Ozone gave me a very good and interesting price on it, but another company bought the other part of it, and they put their logo on the wing, and it's called Esquisse. They are clothing manufacturer out of France/Miami.
Oh.
They do a very nice product, and every time my nephew put a video out there, they get 20,000 views right away within a day or two, just because they have so many followers. So it's great. Nice. The logo is beautiful. When I went around the Salton Sea, I told the guys, well, if you want to fly with me, just follow the big Esquisse wing.
Oh yeah, it goes wingtip to wingtip. It's very obvious.
Yeah. So, it's beautiful, very nice logo. So that's for that. After what I'm going to get when I get to Corpus Christi, I'm going to get a new MY19 engine. So we're going to swap it and we're going to put it on the Scout frame.
Nice.
And this one will be a way for Vittorazzi to test the engine on long distance.
Right.
Where you just keep running
nice.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Same thing, they will get it back and they will check the inside and see how it did.
Very cool.
So so that's the major sponsors. And Glider Sport also is really moved in to help with Vittorazzi. So Vittorazzi and Glider Sport are working together. Sean at Glider Sport gave me some extra parts, prop, exhaust pipe, just things that I will maybe need along the way.
Right. Is there anything else that you need that you don't already have?
No, right now I think I'm all set. Yeah.
Nice.
If I have a problem with my engine, I have another one. If I have a problem with my wing, I have another one.
Right.
So financially, yes, right now I didn't spend too much. It's only gas, I guess.
Right.
The big expenses will be the raft
Yeah.
and crossing to Baja.
Right.
If we take the rig to the other side, which we're supposed to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You'd make that, put it on a ferry of some sort?
Yeah, from Los Mochis. I don't know what the price will be, but it will be I don't know, $600, something like that to go across. It's a very short crossing, but that's what they charge.
Your truck has the camper in it and everything. I guess you'll have some sort of a sleeping arrangement.
We're very pleased to have the camper. The camper and the trailer. The trailer is a real garage.
Right.
And the panel on it, the sign showing the trip and the map is beautiful on it. But the camper, yeah, we got everything we need. We got the water, we got the fridge, we got the music, we got a little editing studio, we got a nice bed.
It's a party
I have to share the bed
wheels.
with my nephew. That's great.
So how long did this trip how long did the planning for this trip take? How much time you
It's hard to say because I didn't plan it much. The trip itself, I spent more time mainly contacting sponsors.
Right.
And contacting the people in Cuba, but that was not much. It's just some Facebook back and forth.
Right.
Same thing with the guys out of Mexico. Everything else, overall, pretty straightforward. How long I've been thinking about it, that's a tough question because I have a lot of ideas, but until I really move forward, I'm not very sure that's going to happen. But I was moved forward on trying to create something new. I've been thinking about it for, I don't know, a year and a half.
Right.
When I was just learning to fly, just about like, I would like to do a long distance trip. It would be nice to cross the United States. Well, it just got a little bit bigger.
Right.
So how long have you been flying?
I have about 160 launch. So not much. Almost 3 years, 2.5 years.
You've only been flying 3 years, or not even quite,
Mm-hmm.
and you're already doing a 6,000-mile trip. And so, do you know what the record distance is right now on an adventure like this?
From what I heard and read, it was somebody, I think, in, not sure, Czechoslovakia, I think. I think 5,000 miles, 5,700 miles, something like that. But for me, I put it at 6,000 miles, but I have no clue. I didn't measure it. I just checked the driving distance from San Diego to Key West, 2,700 miles. I thought, well, okay, go this way. I assume it's about 6,000 miles.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it could be 6,500. I can make it a little bit longer. I can make it a little bit shorter.
Right. Don't forget about that lap around the Salton Sea.
Yeah.
That's extra credit.
I put this one on, but I didn't put all the distance I flew in Glamis or all the trips I did around the Salton Sea.
Right.
I didn't.
Or the little cruises around our airfield here
exactly.
tonight.
So when you get done with this trip, do you already have envisioned in your mind other long distance trips, or you think, maybe I'll just fly like everybody else does?
Not for a long distance, but right after I will be in France. But as soon as I come back from France, we have the Colorado River. I'm organizing the Colorado River trip starting October 1st. So there I will, meaning I'm assuming there will be about 30 pilots, and we're going to lock it down at 30 pilots. This one's going to be a little extreme. I'm sure we're going to lose a few of them along the way.
Right, sharks.
No, flying over all the lakes.
It's ugly, yeah.
Yeah.
Lake Powell, Lake Mead.
Powell. Mm-hmm. Well, mainly,
how are you going to get across the Grand Canyon National Park?
We have to fly south of it.
Okay.
So they just simply won't create exceptions for this.
No, the national park could maybe, but the national park itself is very short. Everything else is all Indian land, and they will not get it. Will not do it.
At the reservations?
Yeah, reservation.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even want to ask. You just don't go. It's better.
Right. Okay. Huh. No, because I was thinking like if there was ever that opportunity, I know places like Yosemite National Park. I think it's once a year they open up to hang gliders or something like that, some sort of free flight. I know that White Sands National Monument also opens up once a year for balloons or some other sort of fixed
balloons.
Yeah,
balloons.
And I don't know. I just think that would be so cool, especially if what you're doing is so extreme and you're like, hey, I'm traveling so many miles. We're doing this. It's a group of us, and if we just have this certain window where it's open from this time to this time, can we pass through? I don't know. That would be so cool just to have that opportunity to see something so amazing in such an amazing way, like on a paramotor.
I agree.
So the Grand Canyon could be, we could ask, and
Right.
we'll see. But the reservation, I will not even try.
Right.
I don't
Okay.
want to have to try. When we did the Rio Grande, we just avoid them.
Huh.
There's one section from Santa Fe all the way to
South of
Albuquerque.
yeah.
We just followed the highway. That's what we did, which was beautiful. I said, yeah, we don't want to take the risk. Somebody goes down. So guess what? They will be right on you. You lose your equipment.
Right.
And you have to pay a fine. You will never get your equipment back anyway, so why bother?
Interesting.
So when do you think you'll have this journey complete, the 6,000 miles?
I gave myself 2 months, but the first 10 days already gone and lost because I didn't do much. It was all about staying Glamis and Salton Sea. Took a long time. My idea was to get back and land at Torrey Pine Glider Port around April 10.
Nice.
So do you
But I don't have any schedule. If I can fly a lot one day, I will just fly a lot. Maybe one day I will be able to do 400 miles. I have no clue. 300 miles should be no problem. Yep, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
Do you think there'll ever be days where you go, okay, this is a day off. This is a rest day. I'm taking a break today.
I put only one. I think it was February 28th. I put one in between.
Yeah.
Not really, because the break that I will get is because of the weather.
Yeah, right.
So I will get it automatically. But what is going to be very interesting is that I don't consider myself a good paramotor pilot, not at all, but I'm a good kiteboarder. So as soon as I get to the coast, if some days is just way too windy to fly, which there will be some, and the wind is in the right direction, I will kiteboard. I'm assuming that I will do 200 miles kiteboarding during that trip.
That's so cool.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to do 30 miles in one direction. So I will do it for sure.
Have you ever traveled any length on a kiteboard? Or because anytime I've seen kiteboarding in the past, it's always been like just playing around in the waves and surf. But you can actually go some distances.
Yeah, we did some crossing. At the place I'm going to land in La Ventana and Baja, there's an island on the other side. It took us 45 minutes to get there, 45 minutes back.
That must be so rough on your legs doing the kiteboarding.
In one direction is hard.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to stand up and just get your kite above your head and just like relax a little bit and go back for more.
Okay, you're a 3-year pilot and you're taking on some incredible challenges that people that have been flying 10, 15 years probably aren't comfortable with. So when you're in the air, I mean, you already said, I was going to ask you if you get bored, if you fall asleep, that kind of thing, get sore or tired, but it seems like you keep yourself busy. Does that also help you not get nervous at times when you're just in the middle of nowhere by yourself and you're getting a little bit of rowdy air? I mean, I would probably come unraveled mentally, I think, myself.
He also you carry a flare gun. And it's like, so you're obviously aware to some degree that maybe you'll become stranded out.
Yeah, the flare gun is the way for somebody to find me in the evening if it gets dark and they know I'm around that area. I have it with me. I don't know. I don't really think about it. When I flew over Tucson and that area from, pretty much it was from the flying circus all the way to that truck stop. That was 210 miles in one day. And this one was cloud crossing the entire day from one to the other. And they were dark.
Right.
In between. That was a lot of movement, a lot of interesting movement, but you just get used to it, I guess.
If you're alone,
and
you hit rowdy air, it kind of, you go, man, I don't know, maybe I should get out of the air. But if you're next to somebody else and they're in it, you go, we're good.
Yeah.
But
I'm
you're by
always
yourself.
counting on Tom to go down, and then I'll be like, good thing Tom crashed first. Now I'll just go land.
No, it's just that, if the other person's not going to land, I'm not going to be the first to land. I'm staying up. So if he can handle it, I can handle it.
Yeah.
But if you're alone, you don't really have anything to gauge. You're like, maybe this is beyond my equipment or me.
Yeah. It's kind of like a who's got the bigger balls. Like,
yeah, kind of.
I mean, or some.
Well, I have to go forward. So I will take maybe more than others because of that.
Right.
And really the SIV that I did it once.
For sure.
Shows you that the wing can take a lot.
Right.
A lot of beating.
So that gave you confidence then, I
It
guess.
gives you confidence.
And speaking of wings as well, being that you went with the Roadster, why? Why did you go with the Roadster over other? I mean, obviously Ozone's working with you, but you could have gone with the Spider, or you could have gone with Sirocco. Why did you choose the Roadster? Considering you're covering a lot of ground, It's not the fastest wing. It's probably more stable. Am I answering it?
Yeah.
And meaning that's what I was going to say. It is a stable, easy to launch wing, which is for me a good thing because I'm launching with weight.
Right.
Is supposed to be easy to launch with no wind, but mainly I don't have to work it so hard when I'm up there. If it's very bumpy, I trust the wind.
Right.
I trust the wing. Not the wind, I trust the wing that it will do what it needs to do. So when it is like this morning, I'm busy doing my thing, but I swing a lot from left to right and right to left. I just keep doing that. It's not extreme at all, but I just keep moving and I just let the wing do it.
Right.
Sometimes I move my hip a little bit. So I didn't try any other wing to compare. And this one is the one that I started. That's the one I'm flying with for the last 2.5 years. Except
Right.
this one is a new one and is smaller in size, so I'm
So
going
you've
a little
been
bit faster.
flying the Roadster before this. This isn't a new wing to you.
Yeah. It's just a new model. This one is the 3, and I think is a very stable wing. Is very it moved faster than the one I had because in size is smaller. But again, I cannot compare with another wing. You know, everybody will say my wing is better.
I'm not going to say that.
No.
Neither will Tom.
I've flown a Roadster 3, actually. I enjoyed it. It's
No, I
nice.
think the Roadster
Yeah.
3 would be a great wing. And I think it's probably
It's a great
a great
cross-country wing. Yeah.
Right. Huh. I can't imagine, because there's other people who've done long distances, like Giles Fowler, who we had on the show. He did 300 miles. Wasn't quite 6,000 miles, but he did it on a Hadron. But I mean, I don't know. I just think that maybe something like the Roadster, which is a ENB wing,
B, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of confidence that can come in that, especially with this. It all goes back to like you're traveling over such a huge amount of land, and there's just as a statistical person, you're likely to encounter some crazy weather along the way. And no, I think the Roadster 3, it's like here on this podcast, I've always been inquiring about other people's wings, more advanced wings, but now I do have a lot of hours on an intermediate wing, and I could definitely say that if I was to go 6,000 miles, that I would probably want something like that Roadster 3.
You want something that is stable, that you don't have to work so hard. You just cannot keep your hand on this
Right.
toggle all the time. You just can't. You have to trust the wind.
Right.
And with all the rough hair I got and the fact that I already got about 7 collapse or deflation, however you want to call it, on this one that were from small to extremely big, the wing just reopen and just keep flying. That's what the wing wants to do. So I would say it is a good choice for me. It's a good choice for long distance. And if I had to do it again, I would just get the 4.
Nice.
Whenever it comes out, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Very cool.
And it's very well built. It looks great and flies well.
So originally you're from France,
Mm-hmm.
and you're now living where?
Santa Fe, New Mexico.
So how'd you end up in Santa Fe?
Ski.
Skiing.
I went to
Chasing
ski.
the
I went
snow.
to ski Taos Ski Valley. That was in 1995. I came to ski, improve my English, and trade some work. No, not work, just food.
Spices.
For helping. So that's what I did, 1995.
So do you think you're a long-term resident of the U.S., of Santa Fe?
Oh yeah, I spend more time in the U.S. now than I spend in France.
Oh, really?
I have a lot of stuff here. I'm not going to go anywhere. I have a lot more stuff here than I have in France.
Wow.
My tracking is going to keep building up from now on, that I'm really moving forward. I'm going to try to do more posts, and I need to, and I told my nephew we need to do some real stories, not just some nice video. Nobody cares about nice videos.
Right.
But it's going to go through the roof when I'm going to do the first crossing, the water crossing.
No doubt.
People are going to, I don't want to say bet money, but they're going to be like, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it?
Are you going to film the whole thing? Are you
Yes.
going to try it?
Yeah. I'll have a few
You should be
GoPros.
live. If you
I
can be
know,
live, the
right?
whole crossing.
Oh, taking bets. Oh, that's wrong of me
Well,
to
I
say.
mean, it's like, why do people watch NASCAR, right? They want to see the wreck. So,
Right.
So they're going to watch you to see if you go in.
Exactly.
I'm betting 63 miles. That's what I'm putting my money on.
Oh, an over-under on how far?
Yeah.
Well, 90 is,
I'll-
90 is what you want.
I'll take some money. Just give it back to me. Hopefully I get a little profit
Oh,
out of
yeah.
this one. I will make it all the way to
He'll
the
blow
end.
the wing
63
across.
miles. That was mean. 63 miles.
Yeah, that's mean.
Come on, you should
That's a
have
good
said
distance.
90 miles.
Okay, 90 miles.
So
My-
after people are asking me, but are you not scared to drown? And I said, no, I will be flying high. If I have an engine out, I'll try to restart it. I'll try again. I'll try to again until it starts or it doesn't start. But if I have any issue, I will have plenty of time to disconnect my 4 straps.
Right.
And that's it. I'll just get to the water and get into the wind and flare nicely and just go for a swim.
Is anybody allowed to track you? I mean, do you have it set up so that anybody can follow your
Yes.
But on the same app?
No.
I was privileged, is what we're saying.
Yes, yeah, you are on it. Tom is going to be on it next because
I'm on it.
No, not the Live 360.
From last year when you came through on
you've
well,
been
maybe it's
stalking his
No, I
footsteps
haven't.
this whole time.
But when I flew with you last year
Yes,
on this leg
you were
through
on
El
it.
Paso,
Mhm.
and you were at the Anthony truck stop just north of town, we got me on that, and it's still there. So I don't know if I can track you or not. I haven't been trying, but but he's got his Garmin tracker.
Okay.
So the
that
inReach is
works.
the
Yeah,
dot
the
by
inReach.
dot every 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was wondering what that interval was. I couldn't tell. And today it got stuck twice.
But it started again?
Yeah, it would finally pick up.
Yeah, what I need to do, I need to keep it outside because I put it in my bag.
Yeah.
So that's also very interesting. What I'm carrying with me is a new system that Scout created, which is a big rectangle bag. And I use carabiners. I connect it on the bottom. I connect it on the top. And whenever I launch, after I disconnect the top, the bag goes right on my lap. And inside I have, for sure, the top, I have the phone. And I have my stylus pen that I can use to type on my phone if I have the wrong gloves. I have water in it. I have food. I have
in the water set up
charging.
with like a camelback hose or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It's
nice,
pretty
yeah.
neat. You got to check out this bag. What's it called?
He just showed me the bag. It's humongous.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty dang big.
Insert bag name.
Doesn't look like it'd be fun to run with on your lap.
It is just a nice cross country bag.
Right.
That's what it is. If you want to use it, the system is a lot better than what I was using prior.
Right.
I was just using the side bags.
Put your camera in there. I mean, but you also have this awesome setup with this vest that you wear that you can clip your DSLR larger camera for some pretty fancy aerial photography. I like it.
So the bag, when you're running, it's in front of you, right? Just
No,
flopping
when I run, it's connected
you clipped
also
up
to the
high.
upper part.
That
So
way
as
it's not a
soon,
nut buster.
exactly, exactly. But after when I'm flying, I'm just disconnecting it, and you just go
Lays
down on my
your
lap.
Oh.
And the first time I tried to reconnect it on the landing, I did it twice, and I thought, I don't need to.
Right.
So now I don't reconnect it when I land. I just let it hang.
Is this available for purchase yet? Or
This one will be available, by the Scout manufacturer.
So are you carrying an extra bladder of fuel that you can refill?
Not this time. I'm not going to do more than what I do. Today I did 70 miles and I didn't have too much gas left. Last time I did 130 miles.
Right.
I was getting pushed so much that I didn't use as much gas. I will for sure use the bladder when I do the water crossing. I will have them.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight going up in the air. Shoot.
Yeah, you need an extra margin of safety.
Yeah, no gambling in this one.
Extra fuel. Man,
drag. I see a lot of drag. And it might be to your benefit that you may stage a few days down in the Keys waiting for that perfect weather window where you have a good tailwind to get you across that channel.
What a horrible place to have to hang out for a few days.
The key what is going to happen is more likely I'm going to fly very, very early morning when there's no wind. If I get the right wind direction, I will, but it's very rare. Now from Cuba to Cancun, 98% of the time is the right direction. I will go 60 miles an hour there, I'm pretty much sure.
Right.
So this one will be an easy one in speed. I could be crossing in 2 hours. I don't think it would take more than that.
Yeah, and the other thing, of course, is I'm a meteorologist. I didn't know if anybody
Wannabe.
was aware of this. No, but no. If you're over the sea, would it be bumpy?
It should be pretty smooth.
Yeah, it should be pretty smooth. You just
Because
get
you got a constant temperature. Differences in temperature are what create the bumps.
Hurricanes are.
not in that time of the year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he's safe. No.
What about temperatures?
What do you mean?
What are the temperatures going to be in the air?
It should be pretty mild.
Yeah.
Fairly mild. I mean, the temperature kind of takes on the characteristic of the ground below it in the air. Or the air temperature takes the characteristic of the ground below it. So you got fairly warm ocean. There's the Gulf Stream that goes right through there. That's a very warm stream of Gulf water that cuts right through there.
Right.
So it'll probably keep the air pretty warm, relatively speaking, for what he's been flying. And because the ocean is a consistent temperature all the way across the surface, there's not going to be a lot of thermic activity. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be bumpy. It's going to be a really smooth, nice flight.
Nice.
Should be.
I hope it goes. I believe it'll go well.
63 miles.
I
will remember 63 miles.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on my map and mark 63 miles. Anthony's bet.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. Write it on the side of the trailer. And then I'll tell you this, I'm convinced that everybody that we do a podcast with, Anthony's trying to get them to kick his ass. He says something to piss them off.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, but so you're free to go now if you want. Toe to toe.
No, that's super cool. And I think honestly, if you were, honestly, I know that when you do get it to the other side, this will probably inspire more people to do it. Like, I mean, I would see that as kind of like something cool to pursue. Like, oh, I just crossed this. Also, it's not just the fact that you're crossing this huge body of water, but being that the air is smooth. I mean, that's kind of like chill.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a flight that he could do midday without a lot of concern. Because it will be. I think you like people in Florida could like just go to Cuba for lunch and then go back.
Oh, right.
To the Keys, for the afternoon.
That'd be sick. Oh my gosh, I want to do this now. I'm coming with you.
I hope. Oh yeah, so now we're going back to that. I have two more things to say. Earlier you were talking about why I like this kind of adventure. And meeting the people is very important. I like to see that people are thinking that what I'm doing is interesting and that I kind of inspire them. I like to see people that they are following me and, hope for the best. But the other thing is I like to use it also in a way to try to push people to get outside the box. That's why the little loop around the Salton Sea I organized, it was for the reason to tell people, hey, I'm there. I know what I'm doing somehow. Just try it. It's fun. There's no risk. It'll be fun, safe. And I'm pushing also people to come and fly with me. That's what you were saying. So
right.
I have the name of all the people that already say, I want to fly some section with you.
Right.
I kind of knew that nobody would want to fly over the desert because it's kind of scary for most.
Because they don't know what they're missing out on.
Yeah, but you fly in the morning, you fly in the evening. And as Tom was saying, I will fly anytime. So if somebody wants to follow me, it's like, I'm going. So are you coming or not?
Right.
Some people will not appreciate to be bounced around knowing that they cannot land until they reach destination.
Yeah, and that was a big consideration for me. Last year when you're doing the Rio and then this year on the 6,000, I was like, I know he's coming through, but man, if he's flying at the wrong time of day in conditions that I'm not comfortable in, I'm not going to do it, you know? And I couldn't today because of work commitment, but yeah, I was pretty sure I probably wouldn't fly with him today if he was coming through, and I didn't.
Right.
So far, I got only one guest pilot. I got some French guys, they only went a little partial way, but I got my friend Jason Little, and he flew from Salton Sea all the way to Glamis. Whoa. That was his first cross-country trip
What
ever.
was that distance on that leg? That's not very far.
70 miles. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's funny when you say that. Every day you're flying. You're trying to fly triple-digit miles every day, and people think that if they do 15 miles, they've done cross-country. And that is cross-country for a lot of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you take it to a whole different level there.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I still can't wrap my mind around it. It's so far.
Yeah, when I put the numbers on the trailer today, when I added all the numbers of the mileage I did every day, I'm like, 800 miles. That's
808 miles.
Yeah, well, I did a lot more because I flew a lot in between.
Yeah, of course.
I did at least 950 at least.
Right.
Without any problem. But is a nice number. So we'll see what the number will be at the end, and right. I will add a 1% to it for the
He
extra
didn't
mile.
want me to say this to anybody, but in secret, he told me that Anthony's airfield in El Paso is his favorite place he's ever flown in his entire life. You don't have to confirm or deny that, but we'll just go with it.
I liked it because it's grass.
Yeah.
He says he never flies on grass.
Never fly on the grass. I even got surprised how slippery it is when I landed. I was like, "Oh shoot! I almost finished on my butt."
Yeah, if you're right time of year, and it's more likely if you're east of here, you'll probably encounter this. That if you take off too early in the morning or too late in the evening, the dew starts forming and the grass is slick wet, and you really do have to be careful. You will fall.
Well, thank you for the advice. I will try.
When you're in the air, what's the percentage of time your hands are on the controls and the percentage of time your hands are off the controls most of the time? Since you're so busy doing stuff.
It's all about weather. If it's very smooth, I will be touching the brakes only 2% of the time.
Wow.
That's it. I don't really use them much.
You just shift. You just
but
wait shift
when it's very bumpy, exactly. When it's very bumpy, I need to keep them on. But like I was saying earlier, is that I have to relax my arms. So even if it's very bumpy, sometimes I think, all right, that's a good time. Take my hand down, relax, and if I feel a lift up when I go into a thermal and I get up, I'm anticipating that something is going to happen, so I'll bring back my hand and just be ready for it.
Right.
Just be ready for it.
Well, this is only part 1 of the 6,000-mile paramotor adventure. This is just the start of the adventure, and I think afterwards we're going to do the post-show and find out how it all went, to definitely hear your take on how everything went after the fact. And
I think you have to reach me when I do my first water crossing.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I would love to. I just want to hear you on the other side.
Hey, by the way, in 5 days I will be 50, so that will be during my...
You should be at the Gulf Coast by then, probably.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm going celebrating.
That's so cool.
I'm not young anymore.
Well, Jean-Francois, this is a monumental undertaking that's just so impressive, and we just had to find out more, so we're glad you stopped in with us for the podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you very much to have me around. It was fun. I will try to give you a lot more details later on, for sure. Fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Keep us posted. And also we'll definitely be sure to provide updates on the Paramotor Podcast page, because I know people will be interested in the water crossing.
Fuck you, dude.
No, this is super cool. So this morning, I went out to the airfield, and I've been following Jean. Am I
Francois? I'll do the Francois for you.
Can you? Okay.
And you just do the Jean. And you're not. It's not John. It's
Jean.
Sean.
Jean, like
Jean.
Jean. Same spelling.
Like
Jean. Okay. So this morning, I met Jean-Francois. Fuck, I need to just get the name. It's because it's not American.
Jean-Francois.
Jean-Francois.
Just make it easy.
Yeah, say it fast.
Jean-Francois.
There you go.
Jean-Francois
Chabaud.
Chabaud. Hey, welcome to the Paramotor Podcast. Today we have Jean-Francois.
No, Schwa.
Like, voulez-vous pousser avec Soie?
Francois.
Okay.
Francois. Yes, that's very good.
Jean-Francois Chabaud. Hey, you're listening to episode number 8, and today we have Jean-Francois Chabaud.